and welcome. Good evening to people who are joining live. This is my channel, Say It with Mads. I'm Madhumita Adya. I'm a educator since last 25 years. I'm a youth mentor, a neural coach, and UNSDG ambassador. So the idea of starting this platform is to invite youth like my today's guest, Vivaan, on my channel so that they can talk about issues which are universally important, which will impact the youth from across the globe, where everyone faces these issues. So it's a platform basically where we have a free flowing chat where the views of Gen Z is so important. I really admire the way these people think, and I learn every day from them. So, what better way to give them a platform when I can have a one on one with them? So, today's guest will introduce himself, and he is in midst of his grade 12. He is in grade 12, and he has lot on his plate. He has taken his time out to be on this channel, and I hope people who are listening and who will listen, who will hear this interview post the live is over, will definitely get some real good suggestions from a topic which is very very important. So let's first welcome Vivaan. How are you doing? And please introduce yourself. Who is Vivaan? We would like to know more about you.
Hi. So, firstly, thank you so much for having me. For how I'm doing, I'm not doing that well. India just lost really
Oh
badly,
yes.
and yeah, so that'll take time to recover. But as for who I am, first, thank you so much for having me. And I am, I'm almost turning 18 now. I live in Mumbai. I'm studying in international school, and I've been here for all my life. And now with college applications and everything on my plate, I honestly uh, have almost no time for the stuff that I normally enjoy to do. I'm a big popular culture buff. I love to watch movies, TV shows, or listening to songs. But one of the things that fascinates me the most is human behavior, which is why like my subjects are economics and psychology that I really enjoy. It's interesting to see how like we can easily change and how different we all are from each other, even though we come from the same ape. But if you all give it a thought as well, you'll be as amazed as I am as to what that is. And because I'm so interested in human behavior, I've tried to pen down my thoughts about the issues around us, surrounding mental health, how COVID affected us, all of that through my blog, which is something that I use as a stress buster because uh, I'm not a man of words. I can pen my thoughts better through like writing rather than articulating it. So I feel like that's a good platform for me, and it just helps me express myself a lot better. So that's me in a nutshell.
Thank you, Vivan. And I must tell that I happened to read your blogs and I was so impressed. And that is when I decided that I must have you on this channel because your fluidity of thought, your clarity of thought at that such a young age is just amazing.
Thank you.
So, uh, today, as you know, as we are discussing something which is a very important topic, as internet has made it possible for everyone around us to communicate, to be in touch, we meet friends and family, folks around the world have come closer, and we all know that it has benefited us a lot. But while most of this interaction is kind and respectful, there are those who use it to demean, insult, bully, and abuse. Hateful speeches is horrible, no matter who is it aimed as and who witnesses it. But it's especially troubling as a teacher, as a parent, when I see that it is affecting the children and teens who may not have the courage to express it openly that they are going through this trolls and hate speeches, and they're not emotionally mature to compartmentalize it from who they are, and that leads to demeaning them. Their self-esteem goes down. They lead to depression, isolation, sometimes anger, as shows antisocial behavior, self-destructive behavior, and I've seen it all. So the moment Vivan said that he's going to talk about this is something we must address. So, since Vivan, you have chosen to speak on this topic, and this is so important, any reason why you chose this?
So again, as you said, we always talk about the positives of the internet and how it's connected us so much, especially during the lockdown when we were just not, I wouldn't say stuck, but with our families, and we didn't have access to the outside world. Internet was the only way we could communicate with people outside. And as much of a boon as it is, there's also so many drawbacks to it. And that's what I found out when essentially uh, there was my primary attachment, or like the first time I came across this was when Sushant Singh Rajput, the actor, he passed away in June 2020. And I saw a lot of hate speech uh, against every single person, even if they weren't related to him or related to the whole issue. A lot of stuff was said against every single person in the industry. And now, again, more relevant, now that India has lost, they're going to face a lot of backlash. You can see how easy it has become for people to just blame people, or just take out their anger or their frustration on complete strangers just because they have the platform to. And I don't like that it's that easy for people to put someone else down. I believe in like putting a smile on someone's face, or just complimenting them, and this is the complete opposite of that, and which is why this issue stands out to me. So I would really like to talk about stuff like this.
Absolutely. When you said about Sushant Singh and you talk about cricket, also just a movie is released and people just troll it in one line and say that, oh, that's bad, don't watch it. They don't even realize how many hours of hard work every single person has put in, right? So if people start thinking little bit empathetically to what work is done, you don't like it, it's fine, but you don't have to tell the world that you don't like it. As you said, that you like spreading cheer, say something good about it, go and watch it, let people decide a movie. But also to bring this topic much closer to what is our discussion. You are a student and I'm an educator. This also affects a classroom. I've seen students getting affected. They're very close to us. We'll come to it later. But I want to know what is the difference between hate speech and trolling?
I think trolling is a term that has been coined more recently because of the internet. Hate speech is something that's been going on for years to come. You are like right, for example, protests are an example of hate speech where if you don't agree with something, you raise your voice to it. And trolling is defined as an anonymous user who provokes people and targets minorities. While that's a more broad or more extreme way to look at it, even something as simple as cyberbullying, where you can
Hmm.
make fun of someone or negatively affect someone uh, through the internet, that's trolling. Hate speech can be very generic. It's a broader term, I would say.
Yeah, and it is mostly against a community, a caste, or maybe LGBTQ community, as I said, maybe a particular religion. So those are targeted at a bigger group of people, I believe. Yeah. So do you think any legislative or any law can stop ban hate speech? Does that going to ever work in case of the scenario which we have? The world is one, and internet there is hardly any filter. So
Right.
is banning hate speech any option?
I honestly don't believe that banning it would do anything, because then that brings up the argument of freedom of speech versus what hate speech is. Everyone will just say that if we can't say so and so, then do we really have the right to freedom of speech? And while I agree that uh, freedom of speech is important, not at the expense of hurting so many people's feelings, which is
Mhm.
why I stand against it. But banning it or doing something that extreme would not work, because it'll just work in the opposite direction. People might get aggravated and do it even more, for example, which is why on social media platforms you have like the report button,
Mm,
or flagging the comments for what
mm,
they say. That's
mm,
a smaller step, even though it doesn't work all the time. I think it is a step towards betterment, where if you don't agree with someone, then you can point that out. But if that comment isn't there at all, then you just don't know what's happening. Like if we bring up your movie example, uh, as as wrong as it is to say that the movie is bad, if we don't know the movie is bad, we're going to waste our money to go and watch it.
Hmm.
So if if there isn't constructive criticism at all, because
Hmm.
even if we ban hate speech, then even constructive criticism gets banned, and that's something that everyone requires to better themselves. Like, I wouldn't be a better person if I wasn't pointed out that, oh, you can do this better. So
Okay, great. What a wonderful discussion. Also, you know, the thing came to my mind is the Kashmir Files movie, which recently was had so many discussions on social media about to go right, wrong. So everybody has an idea to say what you want. As you said, banning is not an option at all. But yes, what level and what constructively you can do is not to hurt any other sentiment is what we need to
yeah.
understand. And very well put, Vivan. Your clarity of thought is amazing. Now, I want to bring it to closer to, since you are going to be 18, you said. So, what kind of communication, open channel you have with your parents? That is where it's very important for any teen, anybody who is going through these problems, a situation like this. Maybe they have been cyberbullied or they have gone through some abuse online. How is it? How important and how do you, as an 18-year-old, from the teen years, how did you keep the communication channel open with your parents? And that's very important for me to know. I ask this question to all my guests.
Yeah. So fortunately, I haven't been victim to any of the hate speech or trolls for that matter. And my parents are going to be laughing when you say this, because they don't think that I communicate enough with them. But
Yes.
I share a lot about like the day, what happens daily, but I choose not to go into the serious aspects. But I know that when I am in trouble, I will they'll be the first people to know. When it's people around me, they keep saying that you should keep me like I should keep them informed about what's going on, which I don't do too much, which I should actually, which everyone should. But I just don't want them to worry unnecessarily, because I know that this isn't happening to me. But when it comes down to if I am facing problems, then they're going to be the first ones to know. It won't be anyone else above them. So I know that I can trust them with that, and I know that that channel, as you said, is always open.
Mm.
So
I
that's
think,
how it should.
yeah, true, because I have a 23-year-old, and now I look back and see how his teenage years was. Whenever I used to ask a question, I used to get only one word answers. I used to feel, no, he's going away from me. He doesn't love me anymore. And what happened to the but it all happens that they all come back in their own time. This is the time when they want to explore themselves, their mindset, their thinking, their thought. And you said that you write a lot. This is one of the things which also tell you open up to somebody. They are not comfortable opening up about everything which is happening with their parents. But yes,
Yeah,
end of the day, we are all there for them. They are all there, but there are frictions. You have to overcome them. Will be communication breakdowns. There will be anger, there'll be distrust, there'll be kind of okay cooling period when nobody talks to each other for some time, and then they come back and we come back because everybody has their own
yeah.
child's well-being as a priority. So my next question would be, I think you would be the right person to tell me that what the listeners who are thinking about this and who have been uh, sample of this trolling or hate speech, what techniques would you suggest to them, like how to handle these things productively?
If you can deal with the matter yourself, if it's not gone to a level where uh, you can't handle it, then I think you should personally, if it's not that big again, you can
Hmm.
personally talk to the people who are going against you, especially since it's online and you have the platform. Try and
Hmm.
understand where they're coming from, if you can learn from that. And if it's just blatant hating, then you should reach out to someone, because that's the first thing. If you can't help yourself, there isn't any harm in others helping you. That's
Hmm.
the main thing to understand. And you obviously have these platforms, they have their security set up to uh,
Can you
help.
talk about this a little more? I would like to know. Can you just talk about it a bit more and what kind of report button you said earlier? What is that?
Yeah, exactly. So it's not only for comments that are offensive, but also for the posts that you find offensive that go against your value system. And the best part about it is that it doesn't flag the post or comment immediately. Only if they see a repeated pattern that many people find this wrong, then it works, because otherwise people can misuse the button as
Hmm.
well. Like if you don't agree with something, then oh, report. But it doesn't work like
Okay.
that. Yeah.
Okay. Hmm.
So if multiple people disagree, which does happen when people are being trolled, multiple
Hmm.
people will side with the person who is getting trolled. So then this action makes a lot more sense. But coming back to asking for help, that's the first thing that you should do, even if you feel like you can deal with it yourself, because the moment you talk about something, it gets a lot easier. It takes the load
Hmm.
off you, and it's just a lot more healthy to communicate in that sense, even though it's not related to this topic only, but about anything that you might be dealing with. If it's body shaming, or if it's something you're going through that you might feel is minor, but in the long run that could affect you, just talk about it. It doesn't have to be your teacher or friend. It could be your parents, an external counselor, your grandparents, for example. It could be anyone.
That's a big support, yes.
Yeah.
Grandparents understand it much better. In fact, we think that they are the older generation, but they come up with the best solutions, the best calming solutions they can give. Yeah. So also, kind of, I was thinking that if there could be some lessons, I mean, some talks, some workshops on this in schools, where you teach that if a peer is going, if your friend is going through this, if you see that he's being trolled, not to join the trollers,
Yeah.
and be siding with, as you said, the human angle, but side with the person who is being trolled and not with the big gang who is against that. Those kind of thing. And then how to handle this can be with the friends. If you talk to them personally that I am with you, I'm there, it helps a lot, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So now that you put it in this way, I can relate trolling to something that's been going on in school for years, which is normal bullying. This has just gone one notch up to cyber bullying. But uh,
Mm.
the same way we deal with bullying, it's the issue that rises is the bystander effect, and how we don't want to take action against the bulliers because we're scared that uh, they're going to bully us as well. But the moment we let go of that fear that we're going to be affected, I think we should prioritize getting someone the best help that they could over what we
Yeah,
might
correct.
face, because even though that our harm might be a possibility, what the others are going through right now is already happening. So we need
Correct.
to understand how important that is, and how negatively it's affecting them. Yeah.
Perfect. That's what. Like today, it's not me, but tomorrow it can be me. So
Exactly.
to sensitize them, to talk about them, there are a lot of techniques. Of, your students can, the elders to the senior students can talk to the juniors. Also, outside counselors can be brought in. So this brings to the next question: is how is in schools tolerance and kindness? These values are taught. Do they are even taught? I know I've been an educator. It has never been a concern. No school does that as a. But recently, mental wellness, mental well-being. There have been other. There have been outside counselors who have brought in. I won't call them only counselors. Mental well-being is a priority in schools now, and they are doing. Do you know schools are doing enough, or what about your school, or have you heard anything like this happening?
So my school has this session where like once a week we have a session called personal social health education, where we talk about issues like this. But
Okay.
it's on a larger scale. Like it's our whole class, which is like was 32 kids who sat together and discussed these issues. But I heard in another school in Mumbai recently, they have these not therapy sessions, but engaging sessions, where it's only a group of people, like 4 or 5 students, who
Hmm.
sit with the counselor or the advisor, and they talk about their issues. Doesn't have to be about only academics related, but as you said, mental health, well-being, all of that is also covered. So when you concentrate the groups, the discussion is a lot more enriching. You can open up a lot more, and
Hmm.
that helps to understand, for counselors to understand what the students are going through. And as for the kindness and compassion values, that has to be inculcated not only from a school level but from a home level as well. Like if you're brought up with the mindset that uh, harming others or hurting others is wrong, which I don't think anyone is not brought up with. It's just how they deal with that later on. But for parents to stress on that and primary teachers to stress on that more than teachers who teach me, I think that's a lot more.
Correct, correct. Absolutely.
Mindset is shaped when we're 4 5 years old, not when we're 18.
Absolutely, absolutely true. And you have nailed it when you said that it has to come from a very young age. And
Yeah,
also, home atmosphere, as you said, is so important. When you see your parents or somebody talking negatively or saying that उसने ऐसा किया तो तुम भी उसको ऐसा करो. So if that kind of attitude is taught, अच्छा तुमको बोला है तो go and say something bad. These comes very, as a protection for your child, but you are giving a negative uh, thought in the mind that it's okay to talk badly. It's okay, isn't it, Vivaan?
exactly.
So that is what we need to have, a very big effect which happens at home, in school, wherever you are, is what you
Mm,
speak. The more the speech is one of the things which can make or mar a student's or a child's life. So
exactly.
yes, as I'm listening to you, you're so grounded, and I would love to talk for a longer period of time sometime later. But now I want to know, what is your biggest strength? What would you say is Vivan's most coveted thing which you never want to lose?
I would honestly, like after going through 2 years of online school and then now going through this period of life where I have submissions, tests, all of that, I've understood that I don't let the stress get to me. And that's something that I really admire. I don't know how it happens. It happens naturally, but I don't let my emotions come into that, and I don't let the overbearing workload affect how I'm working, which is
Mhm.
something that is very unusual because everyone around me, they are feeling that pressure, and
Mhm.
as much as it is there, I can see it glaring at me. It just hasn't hit me. But I guess that's a good thing. So
Wow, that's an amazing thing to have. If people think like the pressure is there, but they're not squeezing you. It's just there to
yeah,
handle. They're not pressurizing. It's like a
it's there
wall
enough for
getting.
me. It's there
Yeah,
enough
it's
for me to work, but it's not there for me to compromise on work.
correct that they are enough for you to perform better, but not to affect your mental well-being.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So, in that context, who is your role model? Anybody living or anybody who is no more on this earth, or anybody whom you have never met, you have heard, seen? Whom do you admire, and what you have you learned from them, and why do you admire
So my father, he's like, ever since I've been growing up, he's always said that you are who you're made of the five people who surround you the most. So, as cliche as this answer may be, I would say my role model is each member of my family because they each teach me a different thing and I interact with them the most. So, my dad, he's someone who endorses kindness a lot. He out of the goodness of his heart, he does a lot of social work without expecting anything in return. And that's something that I want to do as well, where I'm at that point of life where I can be at that point of life where the personal belongings don't matter as much as social well-being. So that's something I want to take
them?
from him,
Wow.
and I'm trying to do that from a young age. From for my mom, it's her very, not pestering is a negative word, but her very on the face attitude of getting your work done. Like she won't rest until her work is done, and I don't have that mindset. I'm a lot more calm when I have to get work done. But her enthusiasm to finish everything that's on her plate is something that I want to take away from. And even my grandparents and my uncle and aunt, for that matter, all of them are into the act of giving. They like to give back to the community a lot, and I'm fortunate that I've been able to live with them to get these qualities from them.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow. This is something which I was not expecting, and this is something very, very beautiful. You have said that each family member has some or other strength which we imbibe from them. There's no need to look for role model outside. There is
yeah,
somebody there, especially grandparents. Parents, of course, are there. But if you are living with your grandparents, you have the biggest support system. and wonderfully put. And but what is one thing that you want to change in yourself? Quickly, we have very short time.
I I'm I procrastinate a lot more than I should, but the work gets done. I feel like I would be a lot more efficient if there weren't so many breaks in the middle. But I'm not complaining because it's not too much. I could just get a lot more done if I did.
Great. Because, you would be surprised if you listen to my other interviews with other youths where some recently I've done. All of them, without fail, when I ask this, answer the same
Yeah.
procrastination. And it's really something which I need to explore more, that they achieve so much in life. Your people have done in these 18 years, cramming so many things. Still, procrastination is one of them. I think it is a common thing which is running
Yeah.
across. Okay, now coming to the last segment where I ask you what is one book, or what is maybe a few, but I would like you to name some few which top of your mind, some books, some podcast, or some series on OTT, Netflix, something which you think a youth should listen to and get inspired.
A book that I have been pestered to read ever since I was a child is The Secret,
Okay.
which is a book about manifestation. Essentially, it's about how if you want something from the bottom of your heart and you aim to get it, then you
Hmm.
do get it. So it's
Hmm.
how the power of wanting and believing gets you what you want, and the whole idea of how it actually works in real life is something that stands out to me because my parents are big endorsers of this concept, and it has worked so far. So touch wood, let it keep working. And as
Yes.
for TV show, I don't know about the target audience, and if you are under the age of 15 or 16, please don't watch it. This hasn't come from me, but 13 Reasons Why is an excellent show
Yes.
I would
Yes.
recommend because it
Because it's
tackles
very close to the topic which we are discussing. Thank you for
exactly,
bringing this up. Yes.
it tackles every single issue I could possibly think of, and it does so in a very real way. Even though people might think it's an extreme way of looking at it, the acting, the direction, the story, everything is so close to what actually happens in real life, and people need to understand that uh, people go through so much on a daily basis.
Absolutely. Thanks for bringing it, because, yeah, that changed a lot of things when people started looking at things differently,
Yeah.
openly talking about it. That is one of the series, yes. To end, Vivan, what is your mantra to for de-stressing? As you said that you don't stress much. So this is one thing people will be listening very intently. What do you do to de-stress?
It's rewarding yourself after every small goal. People think that, oh, I won't rest until I have got this, I haven't got that. But even if you do something as small as like finishing a chapter, for example, and then you can take a break. If you keep doing like 20 chapters and then are like, oh, harsh, you're going to stress a lot because you have to stress about remembering it, about learning it. But if you do one break and reward yourself after small achievements, then you feel a lot more happier to continue going, and then that stress won't pile up at all.
Wonderful. Also, I don't know whether you can do it or everybody does it or not. As I've been doing it when I was a teen, I used to write. That time we didn't know all this. It is called this, but if you just write down, today I did this, today I did that, today I learned some new language, today I learned this. So just to write five things which you have
Mhm.
achieved today, to feel good
Exactly.
at the end of the day. The day is not gone waste. Maybe you have not reached where you want to, but the little baby steps, wonderfully put, Vivan. I'm so
Thank
happy that you came on my channel, and I wish you all the best, and the best of the college in your SAT exams, and may you aspire to do much more. But by the way, what do you want to become? What is
I
your goal?
uh, I don't have a goal, which is the fun part. Like I'm going in for economics. I've applied for economics, and I want to do something with behavioral economics, which is studying human behavior, as I mentioned earlier. Like I'm
Okay,
really
great.
interested in that. So I want to understand how we make the decisions we make, and how we can capitalize on
Mhm.
making those decisions.
Wow, wonderful. Let's get to talk offline more about it.
Yeah.
So that's it for now. I hope you had a good time talking to me. as much I had fun talking to you. It's really amazing, and I look forward to meeting you again. Bye.
Perfect. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.